Merry Christmas! This is our Christmas special, but it would be good any time of the year actually. Let's get started. This is another Euro-Asian Bob strikes again, even with the cloudy headlights and all. The situation with this car is actually within my family. My daughter and her boyfriend have been searching for quite a long time for a car. His car died, it was time to buy another car. And I gave them the list of everything, just like I do with you guys, do buy, do not buy. They chose some of the do buys. They found several around town. They're searching and searching, and every time they find one that'll work, sold just that fast. That's kind of the climate we're in right now with automotive sales, is if it's an older model that's a good deal, it's in good condition, it's rarely on the lot for more than a day or two. They're trying to be adults and take care of this on their own. We kind of didn't know exactly what they were doing, but they said, hey, we've been searching for quite a while. We found various cars that we wanted to buy. They end up getting bought. We don't know exactly how this all works. And finally, I interrupted them. I said, guys, you know better. You don't buy a car from anyone in the Wichita area except Euro-Asian Bob. I know I'm going to get a good car. I know I'm not going to get lied to, and I know I'm going to get a clear title. Like he said in one of his videos, this is the 23rd car that I purchased from him. They're like, okay, well, sorry, we didn't know, It's like, well, let me get a hold of Euro-Asian Bob. I'll tell him what we're looking for. He'll go to auction, and just like I usually do, I told him, I don't want a warranty. I don't want you to fix anything. I want it straight off the auction floor and into my shop. I want the cheapest price possible. And Euro-Asian Bob says that's fine, but you get to fix everything. I said, I'm totally game with that. So that's what we're going to look at today. What did we get for this 2015 Honda Pilot with 130-some thousand miles? Let's take a look around it. So no, the headlights aren't frosted for the Christmas season to make it look like it's cold outside. Those are frosted from age. I will be polishing them and cleaning them. When I'm done, they'll be crystal clear. Actually, tomorrow morning I plan on doing that. But the paint on this car is really nice, and it came from actually a Honda dealer when they sent it to auction. It is in really pretty good shape. As I go down the side, it has very nice wheels that are not gouged up or beat up. No dents, no rust. Paint is clean and clear, not scraped. We come around to the back. You can see it's the Pilot 4-wheel drive. Again, no damage back here, nice clear taillight lenses. And down that side, also equally clean, nice. It's not beat up. This one really is a nice vehicle. Let's go ahead and jump under the hood. This is the 3.5i VTEC VCM, as it says on the cover there. Daniel's son actually just finished doing valve cover gaskets on it here today because they were leaking pretty bad down the side of the block. And also the oil cap, which is currently there, was missing. This vehicle arrived with no oil fill cap. So it's not the end of the world. Probably it had a recent oil change, and that person who did the oil change completely forgot to put the cap on. Luckily, no check engine light. It wasn't running bad or anything, but we've got a brand new cap on there. So oil leak solved, oil fill cap solved. Otherwise, it runs perfect. I am letting them know within the next 3 to 6 months they're going to need to plan for a timing belt and a water pump. But as it sits right now, it's fine. Everything's good to go. But it did have pulsations going on with the brakes. And as soon as we get it up on the lift, I'll show you what we did to solve that. But everything looks pretty good under here. Is any of these issues that we found, is that Euro-Asian Bob's fault? Nope. Just like I told you guys, I told him I want it as is, where is. And that's exactly what I got. So these are very minor issues. It really is a nice running vehicle. It's the Christmas season. I'm not going to give someone a vehicle, which, by the way, I didn't pay for. They paid for it. With all these issues, I really can't do that. So my Christmas present to them is I'm going to do all this work in the shop for $0. So Let's go ahead and hop into the interior and see how well we did in there.
So, ladies and gents, it feels good being able to help my daughter and her boyfriend out because we, the Wizard and I, have bought a few cars in our days. Just a couple after all. But for these guys, this is the first car that they've ever actually bought on their own, really, that needs a loan and get the bank involved. And you guys remember what that was like? If you remember, go ahead and put your experience in the comments. We'd love to hear them. But you can see here it has 138,107 miles. And you'd also see it does. Oil life is at 100%. So that must be they just did an oil change before it left, I guess, the previous people's ownership. Looks like it does need to get a little gas there. That gas gauge is looking a little low there. We have a really nice dash. It's in good condition. Has a pretty large area here that's keeping track of all sorts of bits of information there. Pretty impressive, looking good. Not so good on that mileage though, 20 miles a gallon, but they don't do a lot of commuting. They're kind of in-city drivers, so hopefully that won't be tough on them. But as we move down, buttons, buttons, and buttons galore. One thing that is nice, it does have some creature comforts. It does have dual climate control. We do have heated seats as well. We also have heating and cooling in the back also. I like where they put the gear selector. It's right up here on the actual dash. We're so used to it either being up here on the tree on older cars or in the center, but here right nicely on the front of the dash. But as we move down, well, looks like the previous people left the nice little cushions, I guess, to make sure nothing falls between the seats. Those go like right over here. So that's kind of nice. Glad they left those. Got a heck of a hidey hole here. And one that I thought was kind of interesting is in the center section. If I pinch, this can adjust and close. You can determine where exactly you want that to be. Probably want it to be more like that, I'm guessing, because, you know, they're kids. You got to stop by Starbucks. Got a massive center console area with, of course, some different controls that we can, you know, store things and power and connect to devices. Nice. As we look at our seats, they're a leather-esque material. They're pretty comfortable. Got a nice bolster on the side, I guess. We have a nice headrest that looks like it can go up and around and about, so that's doing nice. As we look up to our door card, you'll see that it's got some light dove gray with that darker color on it as well. Looking in good condition. I don't see any real marks on there. And let me tell you, if you see any on there, you'll pick it up on the camera. The camera sees everything. Have a nice little hidey hole there with nice stops between the sections. I like the cars in the 80s. They didn't put these little sections in here. So if you had anything, they go flying back and forth. We open our glove box. That is the owner's manual. Yeah, no, a used car with the owner's manual still in the car. I know, you're amazed. I am. So as we move to the back seat, this is the back seat that keeps giving and giving. Not only is there a second row, there's a third row back there as well. And both of them have a 40-60 split. So they can definitely hold a lot of people and haul a lot of stuff. So 8-passenger car. Not sure if they're going to do with 8 passengers, but definitely can lower that back section and haul a lot of stuff. Headliner's in good condition up there. Nothing crazy going on, no Cheeto fingers. One thing that's kind of interesting is we do have our normal kind of controls up here that we're used to seeing on modern cars, but one is kind of interesting. We put our sunglasses holder down. I guess if you hold it just right, you can see yourself in that mirror there, if we cleaned it. It's got a few smudges. But that's kind of interesting. I'm not seeing that in anything before. As we note our steering wheel, it's got all the normal buttons that we're used to seeing. You know, we can control about everything on the planet from the steering wheel, but it's in good condition. No blistering on the top. Got nice kind of a dimpled area here to grip onto. Otherwise, this thing is in really good shape. I'm really curious what it looks like on the underneath.
So let's take a look underneath and see how well we did here. Radiator core support and everything looks good. We do see some oil coming from here and also around the exhaust, and we've already proven that that was the valve cover gasket. It was literally pouring down, and we'll clean that off here in a minute. But we wanted to show you where the oil was before we cleaned it. But now it is no longer leaking. Transmission is not pouring anything out of it. Looking pretty good there. One thing that always gets skipped on these Hondas is that this little transfer box here has its own oil that's separate from the transmission. Most people don't even check these, and I've seen a few get burned up. We checked that one, it's nice and full. Brakes all around, I went ahead and put new rotors and new pads. The old ones were getting kind of thin and there were warped rotors. Just went ahead and did all 4. So we got new pads, new rotors, ready to rock. The CV boots are not leaking or torn either. Struts are dry. Same thing over here. You can also see I put new sway bar links in on the front because they were rattling pretty bad. Now it's nice and quiet, and our CV boots there are good as well. One thing they're going to have to keep an eye on, or where they park or whatever, is this vehicle sits high enough off the ground the catalytic converter can get stolen. Our daughter actually on her Honda Element had that happen. So hopefully that doesn't happen to them. They do sell cages and things that make it harder to get to. But I talked to a few friends about that. And they said sometimes what thieves do is when they find out they can't get to your catalytic converter, they're very angry. So they get back at you for it. And they'll bust your windows out and pop your tires. So have you really won anything? I don't know. It's kind of a wash, I think. You're trying to reason with crackheads and meth heads. I mean, there's not much reasoning there. Here's our drive shaft. Everything looks good there. These are the staked-in style U-joints that are non-replaceable. So if they go bad, you buy a whole drive shaft. Center carrier bearing looks good. Here's our resonator. Everything looks good there. There's our fuel tank. Everything's nice and dry except for that one valve cover gasket leak. I'm really impressed. Again, rear brakes have been done. The shocks and struts all the way around are nice and dry. CV boots are good. Just little differentials nice and dry. We checked it, it's full fluid, clean fluid. CV boots are good. And new brakes. Let's check our spare. Yep, nice and tight and full of air. One last thing, let's make sure we check the tires on this thing. So it does have some Uniroyal Tiger Paws, which are decent tires. 45th week or 46th week of 2020. And the tread looks like they've got about 40% remaining. So the tires will need to be replaced at some point, but they're good enough for now. Let's get this thing on the ground. Now this car isn't for my daughter, but it is for her boyfriend, but I know she's going to be in this car, so I want it to be safe, I want it to be a good car. I really don't want to give anyone a bad car. A Honda Pilot is definitely on my list of cars you should buy. If you want to check all the different videos I have tons of do not buy type videos. I think we've done almost, 700 videos, Mrs. Wizard?
Oh, we're over 700.
700 videos. It's insane, guys. But before they wasted any more time searching all over the area, trying to find that one car, I knew there's only one place in this area you should be checking for cars, is Euro-Asian Bob. You don't even have to be in this area to search his inventory. There's a link in the description below that goes to his website. He frequently sells specialty cars, very rare low-mile cars. You guys have seen him on this channel. So if you're looking for that certain car, always give him consideration. Check out his inventory. He might be able to help you out, or he might be able to find one for you. So make sure to check out Euro-Asian Auto there. So why was this car at auction? Why didn't they turn it around and put it back on their lot for sale? One of the reasons, Euro-Asian Bob actually talked to the service manager where this came from. The timing belt, it wasn't exactly able to be verified when the last time it was done or if it was done. We did inspect it here and it looks fine. It'll be good to get them by for another 3 months until they can get it done here. Also, it has a little over 130,000 miles. That's a little bit high, but on a Honda that's nothing. But for them it was a little high. So there was several other things. It needed some conditioning, and they was figured by the time they do the timing belt, the water pump, the brakes, and all these things, that was right at the fine line, teetering. Should we keep it? Should we not keep it? And it just went over the line just a little bit, and they said, all right, send it to auction. But as you guys saw, very minimal repairs, nothing major, nothing catastrophic, nothing devastating. We got them solved, got them fixed. I'll get the headlights done tomorrow morning. They will have a very nice vehicle to go to Christmas dinner in this year. If you're curious what kind of tools we use in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. Check out Mrs. Wizard's Ways as well. There's a link in the description below. She's got really cool videos there. She went around today and actually interviewed all of us about what our worst gift and our best gift we've ever received. If you want to find that information out, you want to go click on that link below and check out that video. And make sure to hit the subscribe button here because there's many more videos to come for you guys. Thanks for watching.